Welcome to This Explainer. You know that classic movie hacker stereotype, right? Someone sitting in a pitch black room, furiously typing bright green text on a screen, bypassing global security systems in like 10 seconds. It looks totally intimidating, maybe even a little bit like magic. Well, today, we're going to shed that whole movie hacker myth. What they're actually using is simply the command line interface, or CLI. And as you'll see throughout this explainer, it is definitely not magic. It's just an incredibly practical, empowering tool that gives you absolute control over your computer.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll be looking at 1. The command line interface. 2. Essential navigation commands. 3. Managing files safely. 4. Speed, automation, and errors. And 5. Your DevOps career path.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the command line interface, beyond the visuals.
So there is a pretty massive difference between how most of us normally interact with computers and how the pros do it. Most of us rely heavily on a GUI, a graphical user interface. Think of your standard Windows desktop or the macOS Finder. It's highly visual, very beginner-friendly, and relies entirely on you clicking menus and icons. But all those pretty graphics, they chew up a lot of system resources. On the flip side, we have the CLI. It uses strictly text-based commands instead of graphical buttons. Now, it might not look as pretty, but it is infinitely faster for advanced tasks, gives you absolute direct control over your operating system, and literally uses just a fraction of your computer's resources. Now, before we actually start typing anything, we need to clear up a really common point of confusion. People use the words terminal and shell interchangeably all the time, but they are actually different things. The crucial takeaway is this. The terminal is simply the application window you open on your screen. It's just the visual box where you're typing. But the shell, that is the actual program running behind the scenes. The shell interprets the text you type and tells the operating system exactly what to do. If you're on Linux or a Mac, your shell is probably Bash or ZSH. Over on Windows, you might be using PowerShell or the command prompt. Basically, the terminal is the messenger and the shell is the brains of the operation.
Moving right along to section 2, essential navigation commands, finding your way.
Think of these 3 steps as your ultimate command line compass. Step 1. Type PWD. That stands for Present Working Directory. It instantly prints out your current folder location so you know exactly where you're sitting in the system. Step 2. Once you know where you are, you naturally want to look around, right? So type LS on a Mac or Linux machine or DIR if you're on Windows. This lists out all the files and folders sitting in your current directory. Step 3. Now that you see a folder you actually want to enter, type CD, which stands for Change Directory, followed by that folder's name. Oh, and you can also type CD followed by 2 dots to bump back up one folder. And just like that, you are successfully navigating your entire computer using nothing but text.
Next up, section 3, managing files safely, creation and caution.
Just think about how much tedious right-clicking, digging through menus, and dragging and dropping you do in a normal visual interface. It's a lot, right? In the CLI, you bypass all of that by typing really short commands. Type mkdir, short for make directory, to instantly spin up a new folder. On Mac and Linux, typing touch creates a brand new, perfectly empty file. Need to duplicate something? Just use cp to copy it. Want to shift a file somewhere else entirely or just give it a new name, the mv or move command handles both of those jobs perfectly. Okay, I really need to hit pause here and shift to a very serious note. As our source material explicitly warns, you have got to be incredibly careful while deleting files in the command line. In a visual interface, if you delete something by mistake, it usually just goes to a recycle bin or a trash folder where you can easily fish it back out. The command line is definitely not that forgiving. Commands like rm, which removes files, or rmdir for folders, will often permanently obliterate your data the absolute second you press enter. Always double-check your screen before executing a delete command. Absolute control means absolute responsibility.
Let's dive into section 4, speed, automation, and errors, unlocking the power.
If you ever catch yourself wondering why professional developers completely abandon visual interfaces, just imagine your boss comes up to you and asks you to rename 1,000 individual files. If you stick to the GUI approach, you're right-clicking, selecting rename, typing the new name, hitting enter, and doing that 1,000 times. You're looking at hours of mind-numbing manual labor. But with the CLI approach, you write a tiny automation script that loops through every single one of those files and renames them exactly how you want in mere seconds. The time savings are absolutely exponential. Another total game changer for saving time is verifying your tools. Developers are constantly juggling all sorts of different software environments. Instead of digging through endless system settings to figure out if Git, Python, or Node.js are actually installed and updated, they just pop open the terminal. By typing the software name, followed by -- version, the command line instantly spits out the exact version number installed on that machine. It's a remarkably simple, universal trick that the pros use every single day.
But of course, the journey to becoming a pro comes with a few speed bumps. Let's rapid fire the most common beginner mistakes so you know exactly what to look out for. First and foremost, simply type in commands incorrectly. The command line is famously strict. Even a tiny little spelling mistake is going to throw an error because the computer only does exactly what you type. No guessing. We already touched on the massive danger of accidentally deleting important files. But the final mistake on this list is perhaps the biggest missed opportunity of all: ignoring commands documentation.
And right here is your ultimate safety net. If you ever forget how a command works, or you just aren't sure what a specific tool does, you honestly don't even need to open a web browser. Just type the command, followed by the --help or -h flags. The terminal will instantly print out the official documentation and instructions right there on your screen. The command line literally teaches you how to use it, provided you just ask for help.
Finally, Section 5, your DevOps career path, why this matters.
The skills we've been talking about today aren't just for tinkering around on your personal laptop. CLI skills power the daily workflow of the entire modern internet. Whether you're managing massive cloud computing platforms, configuring Linux web servers, building DevOps pipelines, or running complex cybersecurity diagnostics, you are going to be using the command line. Major corporate systems at Google, Microsoft, and Amazon rely incredibly heavily on these exact same text-based tools. When you're typing commands into that terminal, you are wielding the exact same toolset used by top-tier cloud engineers all over the globe. Look, at first, the terminal might seem a little daunting, but with daily practice, it's absolutely going to become the most powerful tool in your entire developer toolkit. Don't fear the text screen. Embrace the control it gives you. So, here is the question I want to leave you with today. Which CLI command are you going to master first on your journey to becoming a DevOps pro? Fire up your terminal, type PWD, and take that very first step. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep exploring.
If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, like this video, comment your favorite programming language, subscribe to Future Break Coder, because many exciting coding and futuristic tech videos are